The European Single Electronic Format is the EU standard for digital financial reporting. Listed companies are required to publish their annual reports in XHTML, with inline XBRL tagging applied to the consolidated IFRS financial statements. In this tutorial, we will show you how to tag ESEF data using Altova XBRL tagging. We will deal with tables, text values, and text blocks. Let's start by adding our fictional company and providing its details. First, we need to fill in the legal entity identifier. Then we need to supply the name of the company. The company ID is the name that will be used in the exported report. The reporting language is English. And the reporting currency is the euro. We are now ready to add our ESEF report in XHTML format. You can see quite a few formats in this dialog. The report may reference some files that you can upload separately. Let's select our report. We are about to import the report that was created by our company and to which we will apply XBRL tagging. You can also drag your files. We also need our company's extension taxonomy, which is stored in a zip archive. Let's take a quick look inside. Please bear in mind that the current version of our software requires an existing extension taxonomy. Future versions will allow creating an extension taxonomy if it doesn't exist. Now let's get back to the contents. The XSD file, also known as the schema, defines the structure of our extension taxonomy. It acts as the main entry point for the report. Besides, we have several XML files. These are known as link bases. They define different types of relationships between taxonomy concepts, how these concepts are presented and calculated, what they mean in plain language, and how they relate dimensionally. Let's import this taxonomy package. Now let's apply the start date of the report. And as you can see, the end date is filled in automatically. That's very convenient. The reporting language is already pre-filled. The transformation registry defines how to convert human-readable content, like numbers, dates, and percentages, into the correct machine-readable format for XBRL. The default value is ext4. This is the recommended version and we will leave it as is. The next step is to set the fact defaults that will apply to all facts in the report. The reporting currency has already been filled in. Let's move on to the next property. Numeric values are often scaled to be more readable. Scale tells the processor to multiply the displayed value by 10 raised to the power of the scale value, which may be positive, negative, or 0. For our report, we'll use a scale factor of 3. Which means the displayed number must be multiplied by 1000. Accuracy is controlled by the decimals attribute in XBRL and indicates the number of decimal places to which a numeric fact is known to be correct. Usually as a result of rounding or truncation, we will use -3, which means a numeric fact is rounded to and accurate to the nearest thousand. And the last setting we need to configure is the monetary fact format. It specifies the character used for the decimal separator. In our report, the format is num.decimal. This format indicates that the dot is used as a decimal separator. The report has been uploaded successfully, and we can start tagging it. First, let's take a look at the Link Roles tab. Link roles organize taxonomy relationships into meaningful groups, such as statements and notes. These groups represent key sections of a financial report, and we must tag facts within them. The link roles and their associated concepts are defined in the taxonomy files. For example, we want to tag the profit and loss statement. We need to find this section in the report and start tagging it. Now let's click somewhere in the table. This causes a pop-up to appear. We will use the automatic table detection feature. Next, we need to select the section of the report this data belongs to. Before tagging the data, let's check if the concepts and periods have been identified correctly. Everything looks very good. The next step is to hover over the table region and click Add Facts. The facts are now highlighted in blue, which means they are tagged. We can also click on any individual fact to see its properties. In this table, there is one fact that has a footnote. Let's see how easy it is to tag footnotes. First, we need to select this piece of text. Second, we will switch to the Footnote tab in the pop-up, and then give the footnote a descriptive name. Next, we will click the fact with the footnote and select the footnote in the Properties pane. The footnote is now successfully linked to this fact. Now let's take a look at the statement of changes in equity. This is a complex table structure that consists of two parts and has the following peculiarities. There are line items, there are also two periods, and for each period the line items are repeated. Besides, this table has a dimension defined in the taxonomy files. The dimension consists of various equity components. These are known as dimension members. So unlike simple tables, almost each fact in this table will have a concept, a dimension member, and a date or a period. Processing such complex structures might be challenging in other tools, but with Altova XBRL tagging such tasks are quick and easy, thanks to our software's flexibility. To tackle such data, we will use the combination of automatic table detection and manual tagging. Let's click some cell in this table, then switch to the detection mode and select the equity section. Now let's quickly check the line items. All of them have been detected correctly. The next step is to assign an appropriate date or period to the line items. As for these line items, all of them have the same period. To save some time, we will define a region for these line items and assign the relevant period to it. Let's switch to the Regions tab and click the button Add Region. After that, we need to define the borders of the region. Since we are going to tag only these facts, our region is smaller than the width of the table. Next, we need to select the region and assign the period to it. The biggest advantage of this approach is that properties defined at region level will be inherited by all facts inside the region. For the last line item, we'll add a date manually. Let's take the same steps for the second period. We already have very good results. The only trouble is the components of equity have been mixed up. The dimension members are assigned in the order of schema definition, and this order may not correspond to the order in the table, but it's very easy to fix. Let's hover over the first equity component and assign the correct dimension member. Let's continue assigning all the other members. As for the second half of the table, we will follow the same strategy as for the first half. We're almost done with this table, there's only one point left. Since the total equity is not a dimension member, we will simply delete the dimension assignment from this column. Now the whole table is ready to be tagged. To be on the safe side, let's check some fact. Our next task is to tag text values and blocks. In the notes to the consolidated financial statements, there are a lot of text values and blocks that need to be tagged. This process is quite flexible, and we will show you one of the possible approaches. Let's first select a piece of text and make a region out of it. Next we will click on this region and assign the relevant section of the report in the properties. This way we define this property only once at region level, and all values in the region will inherit the section automatically. Since the region coincides with the text block we want to tag, we will show you a very useful feature. Let's click the button Select Text. This causes all the text inside the region to be selected. You can also do this via the region pop-up. Now we can set the name of the text block. Let's also check its properties. The section has already been filled in. Actually, this text block has several nested values. For demonstration purposes, let's take only one of them. We will select this piece of text and assign the appropriate concept. And thanks to dotted lines, you can easily spot any nested facts. We have demonstrated the most common aspects of tagging ESEF data. Now it's time to export the report. On Export, the data is validated, and relevant information is displayed in the Messages window. If there are some issues, you can always go back to your report, revise your data, and export the report again. For more information about Altova XBRL tagging, please visit xbrl-tagging.com.